Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to report a trade.
We have a trade to announce.
Tails.
Let's go.
How about this trade that just went down?
Wow.
Okay, so the rumor's true. Okay, we just traded you. Okay, we traded you to the Indianapolis Colts. All right. So, you okay?
Nah, I want to call my grandmother.
You can call your grandmother. Okay, this hasn't hit the papers or anything like that. Okay, well, why don't we do a little business first? Okay, before you call grandma. Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. Thank you so much for tapping in with us. If this is your first time, welcome in. And if you're a returning one, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Everybody should be hitting that subscribe button. We are so damn close. I'm almost ready to say under 100. Almost. We need a few more, and then we'll be under 100. And I have big plans for 1,000, if you don't know. I keep talking about it, but I'm not shitting you. I'm being honest. Adam, how you doing, buddy? Another trade show? Season's over? Ready to do this?
Oh, man. I'm always ready to do the Dynasty Trade Show. The best part is the season is over, Mike. But guess what? Trade season's never over. And Dynasty Trade Show is also never over. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. We are, like you said, we're getting close to 1,000. So if you could, if you find this useful, give us a subscribe. If you're just watching, you're already subscribed, make sure you leave a comment, like it for us. But, yeah, we got some good trades to get into, Mike. Are you ready to do some trades?
Let's go, man. Let's pull them up. Let's hit the button. Let's go.
You know, it's one of me or you. So today we'll start with me, Mike. This is
I seen this trade.
Yeah, this is the shit IDP. Now,
yeah,
if you've been watching this show for not quite a full year when we started doing the video content, right? You heard us talk about we don't play IDP. How far we've come. We got a shit league that's got IDP in it.
With
Mike.
IDP, right?
Right. So this is IDP. We're starting, 25 players. I believe it's 12 offense, 13 defense. We're about to be drafting almost 70 rounds of players. So this is a startup trade. Mike, I am sending away the 11-11 and the 13-11, which I believe became Dameon Pierce and Mike Williams.
Yep.
I received a 25 first from Brady Millert, a 25 second from Brady Millert, and a 24 third. Key part here, he'd already traded away his 24 first and second. So
couldn't get those. Huh?
Could not get the picks that are 24, which is, the class I really covet and would love to get. But, Mike, kind of embracing the liquidity aspect, like I still don't know what my direction is going to be, what my team's going to be yet. But I know 11-11, 11-11 and 13-11 could be integral parts on a best ball team this big of 25 starters. But I also felt like having this liquidity gave me flexibility to go buy something later too. So I'm curious what you think of this deal.
I like it for both of them. Like when I really look at it, and this isn't being modest. Brady Millert, Mila is what he goes by on Sleeper or on our Discord, does a good job. He's pretty smart, tapped in, knows what he's doing. If I look at it, you look at the startup values and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe we got a first for the 11th round startup pick.
Right.
There's a lot of IDPs in here that push those players down. So that's why Dameon Pierce and Mike Williams are going in the 11th and 13th. There's a fuck ton of IDPs that went before.
And it's also juiced IDP scoring, especially for certain spots. So if you do play IDP and you're trying to figure out who all went ahead, the juice scoring has also pushed some IDP guys even further up the board, I think. For
sure. So if I just look at it, man, it's going to take people a while to wrap their heads around. You and I have always kind of been, we did a damn Patreon show about acquiring 25 picks, and this is months and months ago. Mm-hmm. It's going to take people a while to wrap their heads around 25, right?
Right.
Acquiring 25 picks because it still seems so far out. It is far out, but if you really think about it in the context, we're in the 2023 season. Now we're at the very beginning of 2023 for us fantasy players.
Yep.
But 2025, you're going to have to treat them just like you were 2024 last year, right?
Right.
So if you put it in that context, and this was a 24 first and a 25 second, no one cares. You know what I mean? Like it registers a little bit better. If I look at it as Pierce for the first in a best ball league, that's fair. That's fair. I like Dameon Pierce. We had a good talk with Nate about him, right? I like him. Is he worth a first? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't really matter. Like in best ball, I'm more willing to spend those picks for a player.
Yeah.
For a player. I think he's going to be fine. The second for Mike Will, as much as I dunk on Mike Will, like just a generic random second, you don't know where that lands, he's probably worth more than that, right, Adam? But
Sure.
I don't know. You toss a third in there. For him, I understand why he bought it. I'm with you, though. Like, I'm kind of on the other side where if I'm in your shoes right now talking in January, it seems like maybe you sold a little bit light, but I'm willing to take the liquidity. Like, I fully understand and embrace that. I'll sell these players, if this is what they'll fetch me, even if they're 2 years out as far as picks go, I'll take the liquidity because I think I can do a lot more with it.
Yeah, I mean, and you're making bets on guys right now, like we talked about Dameon Pierce, right? But there's a lot of scenarios that could unfold. Now, I did this before I made the pick, or before Brady Miller made the pick, but
yeah,
Dameon Pierce, there's a lot of scenarios and outcomes given day 3 draft capital. Like if they invested in another running back, if they brought someone in, all of a sudden arrow down on him, right? Mike Williams, like guy that seems to be treading some water right now. He's bleeding value, truthfully. Maybe he'll get a value surge as the season comes around, but it's a lot of volatility, I feel like, for the players I was going to take here, where I know for sure the 25 first, even though it may not be that sexy today, is only going to accrue value. And I think about having all my other picks too, like what I could package them for later on, as we've already learned about principles in best ball. So that's kind of why I was willing to make this deal. I thought it was actually a pretty reasonable deal. And like you said, I think if you're trying to contend today, you probably feel like this was a light send to go grab those picks.
Yep. If you acquire the players, right, you kind of assume all the risk, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about that with draft picks before. You don't have a lot of risk in draft picks. You have a lot of risk in players. Whether they draft somebody to bring them in, they get hurt, suspended, injured, doesn't matter. It is what it is. So, like if I'm going to spend those picks right now in January, I want it to be such an egregious value where I go like, I can't believe you let this guy go for a single first and you let this other guy go for a second and a third. You know what I mean? It has to be one of those, not guys who are on the borderline. Like, I understand it, and the bet can pay off, and you and I have made those bets, but that's one of the biggest differences from last year to this year where I go, in January, why the fuck would I make this bet? I don't want to. There's just so much that could work against me. I keep the picks.
I'm with you, man. All right, so we got our boy Corey Schumer, Savage tier member. We got a trade here, Mike.
Shit.
Superflex lineup, right? Jerry Jeudy, the 102 and the 212, Mike, for the 101 and the 205. I heard a holy shit, so start me off. What are you thinking?
That is wild. That is wild. Absolutely insane that he got this. Bijan's fantastic. Fantastic. I told you one of my favorite things to do in this class is kind of pick at the 102 or the 103, right?
Yeah.
It puts the pressure. I mean, the 101's nice, and I'll probably end up with a handful of Bijan shares when it's all said and over with. And nothing against the player, but I just want to put all the pressure on the guy at the 101.
Right.
Does he talk himself into a quarterback and let me get Bijan at the 102? Is it obvious to me that while Bijan's fantastic, there's a clear-cut QB1 who's going to be, this elite asset, right? As we go through the process, does he take Bijan and then let me have the first quarterback at 102 or possibly 103? So if I can trade back one damn spot into 102, 103, 2 spots if it's 103, and get Jeudy, even though I'm not a Jeudy guy, man. I don't like
Neither
Jeudy.
am I, right?
And I just got to tack on a second round swap like the 205 to the 212. I don't know how much difference there's going to be between the two players. Obviously, you'd rather pick at the 205 than the 212, but It's just so kind of inconsequential in this deal. I get a guy like Jeudy. I also have 9 months that maybe I find somebody who values Jeudy more than what I do, right? And I pick up something else. And you add to the plus on my side. So I love it, man. You trade back one spot, you pick up some good assets. You don't really give up a whole lot. I'm with it. I'm with it. In a single quarterback league, I would say that I have a little bit more hesitance, and just because of my feeling on Judy's, it's going to have to be like starter dependent too. Like if it's a start 13, 14, something crazy like that, you kind of need depth. So like Jeudy would be a decent enough asset to plug in at a flex. Start 9, I don't know if Jeudy moves the needle, and I'd almost rather just have Bijan in a 1 QB. Not going to lie. I wouldn't do this in a 1 QB, but a super flex, 100 times out of 100, I'd take the Judy side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to put it 100 out of 100, but very close, 98. Like, there's maybe a scenario if I already have like some pretty damn good quarterbacks and maybe I just want to take Bijan and I think it's best for my team. On a value standpoint, though, like you kind of already hit everything I can touch on, Mike. I mean, I'm not a Jerry Jeudy guy, but going into this year, like I still think Jerry Jeudy started to show well at the back half. The way I look at this, the difference from 205 to 212, like that'll probably be a tier when we go to draft, right? But I still want the 212 plenty in this class. It's a deep class. And I think the thing for me, Mike, is difference in 101 and 102, especially because it's the pick itself, it's not that different because, like, of what you just said, you're putting the pressure on him. Okay, now what are you going to pay? Now that you've given me this, what are you going to go do? And I get the flexibility of just taking what's there. I don't know exactly how it's going to shake out. It's hard to see the future that well, but I think when draft capital comes around, landing spots come around, there's going to be a quarterback that's the quarterback one. And then when that's the case, listen, man, as much as I love Bijan Robinson, I think there's going to be people taking that quarterback ahead of Bijan in a lot of Superflex drafts. So I love it for Schumer, honestly. And this is a guy that's been trying to get 101 and 23 for forever. But give me the other side here. Good shit, Schumer. I like that, man.
Let's go, man. How about this one with Patty Mills, right?
Our boy Patty Mills. This is interesting. Now, before you get into this, please understand that you talked last one about one quarterback. This is 12-team one quarterback, Mike.
Cool. So that 203 is dog shit.
I don't want to say it's dog shit, but it's certainly not.
Not great.
It's not the 203 in Superflex, right? It's more of a middling back end. I mean, maybe there you'll take your quarterback shots, though, because they'll miss the first round.
Possibly. Yep.
But this is a tier up by Patty Mills. I personally am a fan of. Mike, what do you think?
Generally I like to. We just talked about liquidity to start it off, and here we get the opposite end of the spectrum. We find the breaking point where I'm like, fuck that liquidity, man. Fuck that liquidity. You can have this pick. You can have Treylon. I still like Treylon too. I don't think there's anything wrong with Treylon.
I like Treylon a lot.
I'm still waiting and seeing, I still think he has immense talent, but Stephon Diggs is good, really good at football. So really good, and probably going to be good for another few years.
Well, I think the big thing too, Mike, is that Stephon Diggs is also he's good at football. He's proven to be an alpha, but the main thing, in my opinion, that makes it a difference maker at the age he's at is he's tied to Josh Allen. He's number one for Josh Allen. So, if Stephon Diggs is this age on a different team, I still like him a lot, but I think it's a different level of the elite tier, Whereas right now, from a points per game standpoint, Mike, I see no signs of him slowing down next year at all. I don't know how long he has because he seems to be getting better and better, route running savant. But, man, I love Treylon, but I think the difference in the two players here, especially in one quarterback, Mike, I think it's more than this.
Yes. I think it's a fair number in one quarterback. Adam, if this was Superflex, is that 203 enough for you to?
I'm thinking a lot more about it now, Mike, because I feel like the quarterbacks push this into that first round range of one quarterback. I think 203 is a great pick in Superflex. I'm not saying it's a bad one in one quarterback, but I don't value it the same at all. And I think that even at 203, Mike, I think you might, depending on the lineup settings. See, I don't know what it is here. He doesn't tell me how many he's starting, if it's lineup league. Like, if this is a lineup league, Mike, even here, I might be willing to do the Stephon Diggs route if I have the appropriate depth and I can afford to do it. But it's a lot closer in Superflex.
Yeah, for sure. That was a pretty easy one, man. Patty Mills, you killed it. And I kind of see why you didn't put the screenshot of the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so listen, we got a two-way trade. We got two trades, same league, Mike. So we have 10-team Superflex lineup. So Alavi 906, right? He's getting the 101. He has the 101 and 102 in a rebuild. So these are both his trades. First trade, he's getting Breece Hall and the 110 for Jonathan Taylor, Mike. Second trade, he's getting DK Metcalf for Rashad White in the 202.
Jeez, that's egregious as fuck too.
Dude, these are both kind of criminal, man, honestly.
I mean, you could make a case. I still think Jonathan Taylor's really, really good at football, and I'm not going to let one down year kind of spoil that. And I think he could probably be really good at football for a while.
It's not to knock JT though, but we're looking at
Brees Hall was phenomenal in the short time that we got to see him. Absolutely on a killer trajectory. I don't know how much I value him in 2023. You know what I mean? Like the reports are he's healing faster and he's just built different, but we kind of always seem to get burned time and time again on running backs with ACLs, right? Or just any player, offensive player in fantasy with ACLs where we always assume they're just going to come back and just be absolutely phenomenal right off the jump. And that generally doesn't happen. I mean, there's some cases that happen, but I don't want to like place my bet on Brees Hall being that. Not saying he can't, or I'm going to be shocked if he does. I don't want to make that bet in January. You know what I mean? But you get the 110 on here, added on. Like, no question about it. I want the Brees Hall, the 110 side, Adam. This is kind of the way of saying it. But I understand this one on the trade on the top with the guy getting Jonathan Taylor just a little bit more. I think you're doing it in January and this fucking trade would be available to you in, you know, August, September, you know, maybe at a discount.
Which one? The Brees one?
Yeah. Like, I think it'll be available to you. Then the bottom one, Metcalf for Rashad White in the 202. Adam, I don't care if it's Superflex, it's whatever. I love the one when you're sending away, you know, Traylon for Stephon Diggs. I think DK Metcalf is phenomenal. Now, maybe not on the production level of Stephon Diggs, but you definitely get the age advantage with DK. Rashad White is just kind of okay. I mean, what does he look like when – I mean, that offense was fucking horrible with the greatest quarterback we've ever seen, you know, ever in history.
And a guy that likes to check it down to the running back a ton.
Loves to check it down to the running backs. And he was just okay. He had some moments. He could never really unseat Lenny. 202 is a nice pick, no doubt about it. But give me the fucking receiver, man. Give me the young, elite receiver.
Yeah, I think I want his side on both here pretty easily, Mike. And now listen, I'm understanding and I'm with you on like Brees Hall may not start out of the gates well next year. He may disappoint a little bit just because he's coming off his injury. Long term, I still really want him. But like I think the thing here, Mike, is one, he's already telling us in this thing that he's a rebuilder, right? So he's in a rebuild mode. And he has 101 and 102, right?
Even better, right? You can hold on to
so
Brees.
you're getting younger, one. You're getting the pick. So you're getting a down tier and you're getting younger at running back. And also, Mike, when you go to keep trade cut, you're getting on the surface a more valuable running back today. And I think the Brees Hall thing, here's I think the way it's going to play out is you're going to have he's clearly valued high now. He's going to start running and doing stuff in the offseason, which will actually give him a value bump. You can move him before you even have to see what he does. And you still can at 101 and 102 get the quarterback you want and Bijan. So, like, I love what he's doing. The Metcalf one is so easy for me ahead of Rashad White in the 202. Like, I think at 202 you'll probably end up getting another running back that's young that you like, but Rashad White and another okay running back or DK Metcalf, especially the way that the landscape is trending with wide receivers. DK Metcalf, to me, is still – I don't care what you want to say, where you want to put him, but he's got to be – to me, he's around top 10, and he's got to be top 12. So –
there's no question about it. He's a wide receiver 1 in Dynasty.
That's what I mean. You're getting a top 12 wide receiver that's young, that's a freak. Like that. Those are hard guys to acquire, you know?
And I think everybody just kind of assumes Geno Smith's going to be the quarterback there next year, right? Mm-hmm. And this isn't anything against Geno, but I mean it's a ninth-year breakout quarterback, right, who's been god-awful for most of his career, and he finally had 1 year, and then he also had a kind of stretch here towards the end of the season where he was just
whatever.
Geno, yeah, right?
Turned into a pumpkin.
They are in the playoffs, Adam, but they got pick 5. Right? Yeah. They have pick 5. I'm not going to rule it out a possibility that they don't go like, well, we like you, Geno, we'll bring you back on a modest deal. If you can find something better, good. And go ahead and they draft C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, you know, Will Levis, whoever, at that 5 pick, and that's their QB of the future. And now, how do you feel about DK Metcalf paired with a young, up-and-coming, promising number 5 overall quarterback that they just drafted.
Yeah, it'll be
a little more
be
exciting.
A value bump, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that one's well done there. All right, Mike. So our boy Go H Devil makes it again. 12 team, start 11. This is a Superflex PPR. There is no tight end premium, Mike. So it's no tight end premium. He's moving off of Mike's favorite, fan favorite, Bijan Robinson, as well as Cole Kmet, and he's receiving the 203 and the 210 in this class. So no tight end premium, Mike, I think does make a difference here with a guy like Kmet. But what say you on this one?
203 or Cole Kmet in a no tight end premium league. Like, I will smash the piss out of the 203.
203 for sure.
Cole Kmet in a non-tight end premium is just kind of, most tight ends in a non-tight end premium are just kind of whatever, man. Like, they're just, ugh.
Yep.
Bijan Robinson or the 210, as much as I shit on him, I think he's probably worth just a little bit more than that.
Yep.
Just because of the role he kind of carved out for himself. Now, we'll see what happens if Washington changes staffs. You know what I mean? They let Rivera go, and then all of a sudden he's not this regime's favorite or this regime's guy, and all that goodwill from last year has gone out the window. So I think maybe just a little bit more, but the 203 over Cole Kmet and a non-tight end premium is just like, that's the main highlight piece for me. And I really don't give a shit what he got for Bijan Robinson after that. Like, I'm good. Like, if that was the grease piece to get me over the top, to get me a premium or chance at a premium player in this class, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, man. No tight end premium changes it a lot for me with Cole Kmet. When I think start 11, right, Mike, like, it's not the super shallow ones, but it's still shallow enough starters to where, like, Bijan Robinson's not probably someone I'm starting weekly. Cole Kmet non-tight end premium is highly replaceable in that format, right? I can plug a different tight end in. I think 203 is the person that if you keep the pick and you make it, like, you have a very good chance to either trade that player for or start that player pretty consistently in a start 11 league. So given the format especially, Mike, I want Go H Devil side. I also think, too, that's just the 203, Mike. Like, I still think the 210, to your point, like, on a value surface today, B-Rob probably carries more weight because he's proven the role. And we still think that Rivera actually could very well be back, even though you thought maybe he was going to get fired. Mm-hmm. So I get there's a name cachet and Bijan Robinson proved something, but I think 210 in this class, Mike, watch. Everybody listening, if you just remember this, when we start getting close to really doing a bunch of mock drafts, the draft is right around the corner, there's going to be so many guys you want at 210. And there's going to be so many different ways to get out of that pick, even if you don't take the pick. So I really want Go H Devil side. The more and more I talk about this, man, give me that side for easy.
Shit, you remember last year when we're doing the 22 class and you're like, man, outside of like 7 guys, the rest of the class is just shit. It's just, trade for whatever. I just remember in those drafts, Adam, I'm sitting there in like the 4th round or the 5th round being like, ooh, this guy's still available. Being excited about clicking the button on a guy.
He's
in
there.
The 4th round. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you had that too with your Isaiah Likely just being around in the 4th and 5th round. That was your kind of guy.
I took
Even
him.
though the athletic testing was fucking horrible, you're still like, still my dude. I'm excited to pick him in the 4th round. Let's go.
Fuck it. Worth the shot, And that's the thing. That's where I think, Mike, as more information comes out, all the depth of this class has combine numbers, DC, like, you're going to want 210 a lot. Okay, Mike. Wow. 10 teams, Superflex, start 13 lineup. Amon-Ra St. Brown and a third, Mike. Now, this is the 105, but Amon-Ra St. Brown and a third for the 105. You were starting 13, and it's a 10 team. So I got some thoughts here, but I'll let you start it off here.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra. I would say outside of maybe, if you take the third out, right, and I don't even pay attention to the third. Amon-Ra, I would take him over the 104, I think. 104 or later, I would rather have Amon-Ra. 103 or earlier,
Pick.
Probably the pick. And just because that kind of gets me into quarterbacks and possibly QB1, possibly QB2 at worst. So
I think, Mike, to me, right, because I think you have Bijan and the 4 quarterbacks that I feel very good. Like, if they all get top 15 draft capital, I think I'm going to have Bijan and the 4 quarterbacks and then Gibbs, right? So, like, Amon-Ra to me is someone that's highly valuable. Now, if this is 12 team, I think the big difference here for me is this, Mike. In 12 team, I think 105 is appropriate. And as the pick starts to get more value, like it becomes more of a conversation. This is taking the third away from it, just 1 for 1, right?
Yeah.
Mike, this is 10 team. Now, the thing about 10 team is because there's less teams, the quarterback edge actually comes down some, right? Because there's not as many necessary in Superflex. So I think that's where this is definitely Amon-Ra. In 10 team, easy Amon-Ra for me. I think in 12 team, you're having a discussion. Like the fact that you get the third, though, even in 12 team, I'd take that side over the 105. But Mike, in 10 team, man, I love this for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tell you the truth.
That's a great point about the teams, right? And like Superflex comes just a little bit less valuable every time you step down how many teams are in the league because everybody seems to have better and better quarterbacks. Yeah, the fact that you got a third back.
But see, you know what's funny
what
though?
A negotiation. Like, hey, I'm gonna need that third too.
Mr. Shy Guy. Mr. Shy Guy's in the DMs. Like he's shy, but in the DMs, he's out here getting after it. The thing I think, Mike, here is this should show though, like early. And it's January 11th. We're doing this. You're gonna see this on what, the 13th, Friday the 13th, right? Oh no, sorry, Saturday the 14th. Get my days all mixed up. This is super early though. 23 is gonna build hype. We got people paying this already for 105. Like the crazy shit that's gonna happen for these 23 picks. Just wait, Mike. It's gonna be absolutely nuts.
I got to take a shot at all the people who remember when DJ Chark signed with the Lions, how that was bad for Amon-Ra and you needed to sell him.
Well, remember J-Mo too?
Yeah, that was bad for Amon-Ra. He's just a fourth rounder, Adam. He'll never be anything.
So, well, you had Hawk, right? Hawk's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, all the arguments, it's like, the alpha is the alpha. But
who knew? He's actually really good at football.
You're gonna have Jameson Williams. He's already a top 20 receiver still. It's only going to carry more hype.
That's tongue in cheek. Yeah, that's tongue in cheek. Me being an asshole, but Adam, I think there's a little bit to it with if Amon-Ra is not that and doesn't kind of carry that taint for a little bit, right? That grossness of being a day 3 pick. You think people are willing to just sell him outright? Like if this is a guy who got drafted in round 2, I think people are like, oh yeah, he's a top 5 receiver, no question about it. Foundation piece. I'd never let him move. Mike,
this is Keep Trade Cut. So this is what people think, right? So ahead of him, you got Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Outside of A.J. Brown, they're all first-round picks and all very high first-round picks, right? Yeah. And then you got A.J. Brown's a second-round pick that's been highly paid and has proven it. Like the point is, if you gave Amon-Ra in that same range the draft capital, to your point, there's still not a window to buy, right? Like, because the receivers after this, Mike, T. Higgins, right? Like, not a window on T. Higgins like there is on Amon-Ra, and he's not even the alpha in that offense. Tyreek Hill, right. Chris Olave, right. Same thing, you know?
Right, yep. Just feels like that little bit of dark cloud still hovers over Amon-Ra. It's almost disappointing, but it's good for us if you're an Amon-Ra fan. And it is kind of crazy to see where his value went from preseason to where we are now.
Drastically different. Keep Trade
shout out to Mello. Shout out to Mello for gifting him to me in one league.
Mello, see that, Mike's. I don't think you're even in the trade show today, and Mike's still dunking on you. That's what he likes to do. All right, Mike, we have a trade here. 12 team, full PPR. It's not really a trade show if we don't get 7 goat rings in there at some point. There's that guy right? Again. Mama, there goes that man. All right, Krogan 4, who I've seen. Mike, I love it because I don't even know what the trade is yet. I haven't seen it. But I can tell you that Krogan 4, I don't know if you watch this. I hope you do. But, like, you still keep trading with this man. It's amazing. He trades with Krogan 4 and the same type of guys all the time. Obviously, they're in a lot of leagues together. But so it's DJ Moore, Tyler Algier, the 112 and 23 for Jonathan Taylor, Mike Williams, and the 309. What I have for settings, Mike, is 12-team full PPR. To me, he's normally puts best ball, so this is probably a lineup league. I don't know how many we're starting, though.
Okay. JT or DJ Moore in the 112? Like, where are you at on that one?
In a lineup league, I think I'd rather have JT. Okay. I think it's close.
I'm with you.
I could totally see the other side, but I want JT.
Algier or Mike Williams?
I think I'd take Algier, but I bet you the market says Mike will.
Mike will.
Yeah.
I think it's close on those two, and then
I
you
agree.
got an extra. You got an extra third. I'm in agreement with you. Like I can make a case for the DJ Moore and the 112 side over Jonathan Taylor. Really can. Just kind of the shift. I know we keep fucking standing for DJ Moore, and
We're gonna do it.
it's getting old.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna do it for the rest of the time. You know.
It's getting old, but I still like him. I'd be happy with him. You get another pick in the first round, I'll be at the last possible pick in the first round that you can get. I do love JT though, man, and I can see a scenario, but I'm with you. If I had to choose right now, like straight up for this offer, if somebody put it in my box right now, DJ Moore and my 112 for JT, I'd probably take the JT side. Lineup, best ball, doesn't really matter to me. I'd probably still take JT. The Algier Mike Will thing, I think, is close, and obviously you just got a free third out of it. So you got a couple pieces that are really close, could go either way. The third, if you want to make that the tiebreaker, go for it. But I like what 7 Goat Rings does. Not as traditional. Oh my God, can't believe you got this done.
Right.
Krogan's getting better, man. Maybe he's paying attention to the show.
Yeah, he's listening. He's watching. You know. So, honestly, I think this is a pretty reasonable trade. Mike, I also think if this was best ball, like I'd be more willing to take DJ Moore in the 112 because I'm getting two for one.
Pieces.
Yeah. And I'm also I think what would be nice if this was best ball. Tyler Algier also I think could operate as one of those best ball running backs. So I'm not just like losing JT in the whole running back position. So I still think I lean 7 Goat Ring side in a lineup league, but I think this one's really close. I do.
There's definitely somebody out there who's like a Mike Will fan that's going like, holy shit, you guys have disrespected this man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
What do you want me to do? I mean, this is just the reality of the situation.
Look at Mr. Wonderful getting a Josh Allen share.
Yeah, so Mr. Wonderful, pretty new member of the patreon.com/South Harmon. $1 a month gets you in the door. You could be a part of the show next week or the following week, whatever week. Mike, I think this is what's crazy to me about this. Before I even read it, the fact that this early, right, where the season's just finished, you got Josh Allen being acquired for strictly picks. Like before I even read, I haven't even read all of them. Like before, but strictly picks, Mike. Given the quarterback landscape, like that bet I think seems scarier and richer than it used to because there was all these different options to get quarterbacks. It felt like now it feels like, man,
yeah,
we talk about the top 12 and you got a puckered asshole because it just gets gross. Okay, so all that being said, we got a 12-team Superflex PPR. It's tight end premium, 0.2 points per carry. We're starting 11 in a lineup league. Mr. Wonderful still has the 104, he says, after this trade. So he did send away. So when I look at this first, try to find the pick. So it's the 103 and the 106 in 2023. It's a 24 first, and then the rest is getting a little bit noisy. 25 second. 24 third, and then a couple of fours, a 402 and a 407 and 23. Mike, so I mean, when you look at the meat and potatoes of this deal, 103, 106, a 24 first, and a 25 second. So, I mean, where are you at with this?
3 first and a second for Josh Allen. 2, I mean, both of those first that we can actually have numbers next to are fairly decent, right? The 103 is a good pick. The 106 still in that range of really good that you and I will both covet. It's pricey for Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's one of those guys worth it. I would say this, especially in lineup league, very worth it. In a best ball league, Adam, I still want Josh Allen. I just don't think he carries the same weight or price as lineup leagues, right? There's definitely a little bit of a difference where I'm looking at it right now going, damn, like I love having Josh Allen, and he's a spike week, consistency week darling for me on my best ball teams. But what can I do with the 103, the 106, the 24 first, and that second?
Yeah.
That's a lot of players to turn down. Premium picks, premium players to turn down for one quarterback. And I'd probably go back into my old ways of, yeah, I'll figure out quarterback later. I'll get this figured out here. So lineup league, definitely smash the piss out of the Josh Allen side, I think. I want that over those picks. No question about it, even though it's steep. You're getting him for less than 4 first, which is probably what he's going to cost in a lot of leagues if you're just selling for straight picks. and this guy's not getting a quarterback back, like officially right now. With the
Right.
103 or the 106, he might actually end up with two of them, but the way it is right now.
Right.
No. So I like it for Mr. Wonderful. If it's a lineup league, smash it. You got a chance to go get Josh Allen, one of these elite quarterbacks, you fucking do it. Best ball league, I have a little bit more hesitation, right? A little bit more hesitation. So that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, man, I'm fully agreement with you here. I think when I think about this, right, so 103 is a good pick. I think 103 is going to give you a lot of leveraging points, but it's not even even if you say that we know that two of the quarterbacks are going to be like really early picks and good landing spots and they have hype, like that, even that quarterback, whether that's, I mean, there's already some stuff coming out that makes you wonder how it's going to go. I mean, Bryce Young, some of the height concern, right? Like, what if Levis and Richardson don't go till more of the mid first? But even if it goes really well, Mike, like 103 and all the hype that quarterback would have would still be mountains for me from Josh Allen. Right? So that you have that there. I think 106 is a good pick, but like still isn't making the needle move towards the picks yet, right? Makes it closer. It's gonna be a very good player. You're probably gonna get a chance at either the best receiver or Gibbs at 106 is the way I look at it, right? Mm-hmm. It's a nice piece. 24 first. I love that class. Like getting the additional leverage there. Starting to get closer. But then, Mike, like, okay, like if someone offered me, like let's say in this scenario, given everything we know today, if someone is coming for me 103, 106, 24 first. First of all, he just alluded that he had 104. Like, you got me, you can get bent. That 104 is coming my way. Like, first and foremost, we're not even talking this trade if I don't have the 104. Like, I'm getting the 104. Mike, I think I would have needed 103, 104, 106, and a 24 first. And that's what I would have countered back. Like, just to give you an idea of how different I think this could have went and where I would be at. Mm-hmm. If someone wanted to do this to me, I would need 103, 104, 106, 24 first. Take all the other noise out. You're giving me 4 first. You're giving me 3 of them in the top 6 and a 24 first, or we can just go somewhere else because that's what it is. That's Josh Allen's price, period. And the fact that you grease in all these little extra pieces and start 11, Mike, like this is Josh Allen to me. Like I don't. Best ball, I think we're having a slightly different discussion, but even there, Mike, I'm willing to make a big consolidation bet on Josh Allen. There's quarterbacks I wouldn't be willing to do it for. This would be one of them.
I will say this. In lineup leagues, the reason I'm so adamant that I would do it in a lineup league and acquire Josh Allen is because I'm all about the variance in the lineup leagues, right? One of the things we learned this year was about variance. And in lineup leagues, if you have elite quarterbacks, let alone 2 elite quarterbacks, like you can just write out the variance and kind of figure everything else out as you go. And every year you're going to be competitive.
Right.
No doubt about it.
Right.
Best ball league, different story. Story, right? Much different story. So I think my price is definitely less in a best ball. Still fantastic. Still an elite asset. I still want to haul for. But in a lineup league, I'm with you, man. You kind of got to get to that 4 first. And if you can grease the wheels anywhere to get 103, 104, 106, and a 24 first, knock out all the other junk. I think we're having a very real conversation, and I'm having a very hard decision on whether I actually want to get rid of a Josh Allen or not. But I think this one, I think Mr. Wonderful got him on a little bit of a discount. So congratulations to Mr. Wonderful. What a wonderful trade.
Yeah, wonderful trade. It's a wonderful life when you got Josh Allen on your team and start 11. Man, like I said, patreon.com/South Harmon, just like Mr. Wonderful. Come get your wonderful trades graded here. You know, come do it. Let us know what you thought of the trades this week. Let us know what you thought of. I think we're starting to get back to greasy season, Mike. Like it seemed like in the playoffs, we were seeing a lot of these deals were in favor pretty decently of the patron. So you're listening, you know what you're doing. Keep getting over on people in your leagues. Just don't expect that shit coming from Mike and I. You know, we're not playing this 3 first, and you get to keep 104 for Josh Allen. Like,
Sorry, T-Rock, that ain't happening.
Oh, man. Well, that's all we got, man. We appreciate everybody tapping back in. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you back here same time, same place next week on the 40 Chess Dynasty Trade Show. We're out of this thing. Peace.